we have realtors, we have lenders, we have inspectors, insurers, but NEFAR is so important in our community. And today, I'm just going to throw out a couple things, not necessarily sexy things like the Greenway, but we can talk about that. I want to share with you what happened with me in my quest to become the mayor of Atlantic Beach. Not unlike other cities, I found that some of our citizens were not pleased with the experience of working with City Hall. We'll call that the customer experience. And so part of my goal as mayor is to change and have what I call a customer-centric City Hall. Who has ever dealt with City Hall in Atlantic Beach for permitting? A few of you, okay. And I didn't mention, there's probably a builder or two in here, and that's where I'm going. So our big rock, if we wanted to make a difference, was in our building department. And I want to share with you what's important as I talk to the city staff. I wasn't focused on customer service, although that's important. What I was focused on is the customer experience as it relates to processes. So really it's about ensuring that the process is trying to make for the best customer experience, and of course the customer service falls into that. I'm delighted to say that Atlantic Beach, even before I took the reins as mayor, was already making great strides. We've done a really good survey to all of our stakeholders on the permitting process, owners, builders, subcontractors, and so on, going back 2 or 3 years. So we got a lot of feedback. We collated that feedback. And what's important on a go forward is that becomes a transparency and a credibility issue for our city. So we are sharing the results, not the individual surveys, but the collective results. And it truly is informing our process changes. Now, it won't be surprising to you, the biggest process change that any small city can do today is become electronic as much as you can. So we took our permitting, or I'll call it permitting, but the permitting process for utilizing city facilities and parks on the beach and so on, we made that electronic, and people love it. We're right now in the process of making all of our building your applications for PIP permits, your status updates, and so on, not just electronic, but user-friendly on your smartphone. So you literally can be out of your house, out of your car, on your smartphone, and check in and see where you stand. So I could go on and on about this. I think most of you get it. You're all in service-related businesses. And so I hope to change the perception in Atlantic Beach that we have a very customer-friendly City Hall, and it's not by simply caving to everybody that, and I'm looking at a couple of realtors, everybody that wants to push through their initiative even against the best interest of the city. But more to come on that later. Now I'm going to talk to you real quick, and keep me honest on time, Elaine, on the stormwater issues, okay? It's not sexy. We all understand it, I hope. It's real. We know that we have stormwater issues, especially when you look at places like old Atlantic Beach. Our infrastructure is old, it's substandard, and what's happening is the realtors in this room, the builders and so on, you're going in and knocking down a house and putting 2 where there was once 1, or finishing the build out of our infill lots that have never been built on. So this is putting a stress on stormwater and flooding issues. So we're not going to bury our heads in the sand on that, but I want the realtors and the builders and the homeowners in this room to know that we still should be seeking solutions that are in favor of quality of life for our residents. And I want to give you one that's near and dear to me and some of you, and that's pools. And how pools fit into lot coverage, impermeable surface, and so on. Right now in Atlantic Beach, a pool counts as 50% pervious, 50% impervious. And that may continue to stand, meaning, if you're going to buy a house and put in a pool, you've got to count half of the size of that pool as impervious. But I'm in dialogue with city officials about what is it that we really want to accomplish. And here, I'll give you some numbers. In a 24-hour storm event, we'd like to be able to absorb 9 inches of rainwater. If you have a normal pool that has about 6 inches of freeboard, you probably ought to give credit for 60% impervious versus 50. But what if we don't want to relax our rules, because we do have stormwater problems, what if we were able to give relief to homeowners that are willing to have their pool designed with more freeboard? In other words, more distance between the top of the pool and water level to absorb that a major storm event in 24 hours. So we're looking at things like this, and I'll continue that march because it amazes me. People buy homes, and they don't always know, and sometimes realtors don't know. They buy the home, move in, and go to permit for the pool, and oh yes, you can have a pool if you'll remove your driveway. How does that sound? So we need to look at opportunities. And finally, I'm just going to end on the East Coast Greenway. I'm glad my sister to the south is leading as the first city in Florida on the Greenway. We're going to follow suit because we're doing from Mayport Road, from Atlantic to Dutton Island Road. We'll be installing our portion of the Greenway in the next 2 years with some lane reductions on Mayport Road to make our city more walkable, bikeable, and citizen